Welcome back to the show. Well, there's a couple of things I think we all missed, of course, during the pandemic. Certainly, live music. Talking to Frank Ray just, reminds me how much I love going to see live music. And second for me is going to see live comedy. And I think we can use a dose of comedy more than ever. And I'm joined by comedian Mark Forward. He's going to be joining us here in Ottawa on February the 10th at the Gladstone Theatre. How you doing, Mark?
I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. I'm doing great, thanks. And as I said, I think, comedy is always important to get out and see a live show, but probably more than ever coming out of, the 3 years we've just gone through. But probably a challenge for yourself, Mark. Tell me about, how you're feeling about getting back on the road and getting up in front of a live audience.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I loved the break. It was quite enjoyable. I didn't fail as much, which was great.
Yeah.
The confidence went through the roof because I didn't have anything to fail at. There was nothing to attain. There was no goal to reach, other than survive.
Yeah.
So it took it right down to the basics, which was great.
Well, I'm glad you did survive, Mark. Mark, tell me about your beginnings for people that aren't familiar with with yourself. Where did comedy come into your life?
I did theater for about 2 years, and it was such a horrible experience for me that I still wanted to perform, but I needed to remove all the other people from the equation. So I chose stand-up to do that. I was doing a play actually in Toronto. I used to do theater in the bottom of Scotiabank, the building at Yonge and King.
Okay.
And it was at noon, and people would come down from the offices with their lunch and sit and watch play for 45 minutes. And it wasn't the best theater, I'm not going to lie. It was hard to get into moments as the brown paper bags were being opened and the sandwiches taking out of cellophane. And,
yeah.
But we would cut the play into parts, and then they'd come back each week. And
really?
We would drag that on.
I can see the weird experience. I can see the lunch bags and everything crumpling being a little distracting for putting on theater. How would you describe your brand of comedy to people, Mark?
I would say silly and playful and stupid, and in the best way.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You've been doing a lot of TV. Let's talk a little bit about some of the television. Letterkenny, which is, of course, back. Tell me what that experience was like.
Oh, it's been amazing. I was brought on to fill in for someone to play coach, and I thought it was a one-day thing. And 9 seasons later, and some live tours we did, it's just been this job that keeps on giving. So I've had a great time, and Jared Kiesel runs a really ship, ship, and I got nothing but good things to say about that.
Yeah,
and we had a new season back on Christmas.
Yeah, and I can imagine that just working with that cast, Mark. Obviously we tend to think we know people that we see on TV, but I just get this vibe from that cast. They must be just as much fun off camera.
Yeah, everybody there is a real genuine human being and has a real genuine character. And I traveled for 2 months with 9 of us on a bus, and it was no flaws were shown. You'd think in that time you'd be like, okay, well, that person's a bit of a, but no, they all held it together. Solid human beings.
Also been part of Fargo. Tell me about that, Mark.
Yeah, Jim Gaffigan was He had conflicts and couldn't finish it out, and I auditioned, and I basically told my agent I can't do a Fargo accent, but I went in and did it, and 2 days later I was on set. So apparently I can do a Fargo accent. That's how I found out.
Another one you've been doing is Cupcake and Dino. Tell me about that one.
Yeah, Cupcake and Dino. It's a cartoon on Netflix, and it's been a blast. I play a little guy named Hugo, and he is meek and kind and good-hearted. And I'd actually never played that in real life. I mostly play some really terrible people, so it was kind of fun.
So that must,
fun.
yeah,
I guess
must be
this phase.
refreshing for you. You grew up where in Oakville? Am I right, Mark?
I did. I grew up in Oakville.
What was that like?
It was a lot. I mean, it was so long ago now, but it was a lot different than the Oakville that's there now.
Yeah.
I mean, the house I grew up in is gone, and the high school I went to is gone. So
Really?
yeah, it's all. I went back to, when you go back to your old town and want to relive memories, and mine are all gone.
Oh, my heart's breaking for you here, Mark. My goodness.
Yeah, it was funny too because I got there just as my house was being taken down, and there was just rubble left. So I took a brick to, as
Oh,
a
that's pretty
keepsake.
cool.
Yeah, and then 3 weeks later it disintegrated.
Oh, that's not as cool. Yeah. You've been to Ottawa before. What do you make of our city here of Ottawa?
I love Ottawa. I love coming to Ottawa. I've never skated the canal, and I'm determined to do it this.
You've got to do it, Mark. You know what?
Yeah,
I'll go out
any
with you.
tips? Yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely. Let's
Okay,
stay
great.
in touch, and we can make this dream of yours come true. Let's
All
remind
right.
our viewers you're playing at the Gladstone on February 10th. Correct? Still tickets available.
That is correct. Yeah, there's about 25% of the tickets are left, so you still have a chance.
All right. Excellent. Looking forward to seeing you, Mark. Mark, thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, our absolute pleasure, and congratulations on all your success so far. Again, Mark Forward, you can catch him live February the 10th at the Gladstone Theatre. If you've never been to the Gladstone, by the way, fantastic theater, really intimate. You'll be up close and personal with Mark Forward. We'll be back after this.